Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to look at a Leetcode problem, and the problem's name is minimum changes to make alternating binary string. So in this question we're given a string S consisting of only characters 0s and 1s, which represents a binary string, and the string is alternating if no two adjacent characters are equal. So 010 is an alternating string, whereas 0100 is not an alternating string because two zeros appear adjacent to each other. So our task is to return the minimum number of operations needed to make S alternating. So if you take this example, we are given 0100, which is not alternating because there are two adjacent zeros. If we make the last zero as 1, we will get 0101, which is an alternating string. Since we did one flip operation, 1 is the output because that is the minimum number of operations required to make that string alternating. Now let's take a look at the example and see how we can solve this question. So let's take the same example as example 1. S is equal to 0100, and here we have to make the last string as 1, so this will become 0101. Since we did one operation, we'll have 1 as the output. The input string S is going to have either 0 or 1, so a string is going to start with either 0 or 1. So we have to form two alternating strings where one starts with 0 and one string which starts with 1. So instead of building the whole string, we are using these as integers which are initially 0. So these two variables will track number of operations which will take to make the string alternating. So this will track if the string starts with 0, and this will track the number of operations needed to make the string alternating where the string starts with 1. So let's take the same example as example 1. So let's hypothetically form the two strings. So if we want to form a string starting with 0, it will start with 0. And for this example, there are 3 more digits to be filled. So if it starts with 0, next one should be 1, next one should be 0, next one should be 1. If it starts with 1, next one should be 0, next one should be 1, and next one should be 0. Now let's try to match how many different positions are there from the original input string. So these two are matching, these two are matching, this is matching, but the last one is not matching. So it takes one operation to form this string. Now let's compare it with this string. This and this are not matching, this and this are not matching, this and this are not matching, this and this is matching. To form this string from this input string, we need to perform 3 operations, but our task is to form minimum number of operations. So min of 1, 3 is equal to 1, so 1 will be our output. And if you also want to know the new string, this will be the new string. So this starts with 0 variable will have value 1, and starts with 1 variable will have value 3. So let's see how we are getting these values. The final output for this variable is 1, and the final output for this variable is 3. So initially we start with both variables being 0, and we start with our input string. We have to deal with index positions now. So there are two cases. Index I is even, and if I is odd. I is at 0, so it is a even position. We check character at the 0th index is a 1 or 0. If it is a 0, then this variable will remain the same, and this variable will be incremented by 1. So output for this is going to be, because you can see here these two are not matching. So starts with variable, so starts with one variable which was initially 0. This will be incremented to 1, and we go for the next iteration. In the next iteration, I is pointing at 1, so I is odd, right? So this part, if I is odd and that element is 1, we still increment the starts with one variable with 1, so it will become 2. And we move to the next position. I is pointing at 2, so this is a even index. Since this and this are not matching again, and this are matching, so starts with one variable will be incremented again. Now move further. I is pointing at 3, 3 is odd. Again check which position is not matching. It is not matching. I is pointing at 3, so s dot caret of I is equal to 0. This is matching and this is not matching, so starts with 0 variable will be incremented. And finally we reach the end of the string S, and since we have to deal with minimum operations, we have to check the minimum of these two variables. Minimum of 1, 3 is equal to 1, so 1 will be returned as the output, which is matching our expected output here. So basically I use these strings, which is the output strings, to explain which variable should be incremented, either this or this. Whichever variable is not matching among these, whenever I is at 0, 1, 2 or 3, compare the positions for that variable, and if that variable is not matching, switch that variable and increment that respective variable. So in the code, we won't be dealing with this string. I just use these strings to explain which position is not matching and which variable is incremented. So we basically deal with the index position of I. We check if it is even or odd. If it is even, we deal with these two operations. We increment or decrement these two variables. If it is odd, again we increment or decrement these two variables based on the character pointing, is it a 0 or 1. Now let's take a look at the code. Coming to the function given to us, this is the function name and this is the input string s, and we have to return an int as an output representing the number of minimum operations. So let's declare two variables which will track the number of operations. So the two variables, like I mentioned, are going to be starts with 0 and starts with 1. So both these variables are initially 0. Now we'll iterate through the input array s from starting to end using a for loop. Now we have to check if I is pointing at an even index or an odd index. So the if statement will check if I is an even index, and in the else block it will execute if I is an odd index. Now we have to check if the character pointing at the ith index is a 0. So if it is a 0, I have to increment the starts with 1 variable like I mentioned, and in the else block it means that the character pointing at I is a 1. So we have to increment the starts with 0 variable with 1. So this will happen for even indices. Now in the else block, we have to write the logic for odd indices. So in odd indices, again we have to check if the character pointing at I is a 1. If it is a 1, we have to increment the starts with 1. So let's take the first two indices. The 0th index is going to be 1. And if the next adjacent index also is a 1, we have to switch it. So starts with 1 index will be incremented. Now in the else block, it means that the character pointing at I is a 0. Then we have to increment the starts with 0 variable. And finally, this will happen for all the characters present inside the s, input s. And outside the for loop, I have to return the minimum of starts with 0 or starts with 1. Now let's run the code. The test cases are being accepted. Let's submit the code. And a solution has been accepted. So the time complexity of this approach is O of n, where n is the length of the input string s, because we are using a for loop to iterate from starting to end. And the space complexity is O of 1 constant space, because we're not using any extra space to solve this question. That's it guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.